God, it's so rewarding, so satisfying.
You are the love. You are the light.
I'm willing to die. I'm willing to die, like, do it.
Shining so bright. You are the sun. You are the moon tonight.
When you're in that bucket throwing up, attach something to it. Attach your pain, your trauma, whatever it is, and get it out.
You are the light. You are the stars shining so bright.
The feathers were caressing my skin, and it felt like I was a little bird hatching.
Tonight, how could anyone ever tell you?
They're fucking amazing experiences.
How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone?
When you first started using ayahuasca, was there a lot of nerves and anxiety going into ceremonies?
Fuck yes.
And I don't even know what it is. I'm not nervous about it, but I think it's just it's kind of the medicine and the whole experience, like starting to kind of like, okay, here it comes. Like we're ready to do it, because it's so intense.
I mean, this is such a head change, and it's anyone who's ever done any type of psychedelic, it is a heavier trip.
You hear about setting intention coming into a ceremony. Like, can you just walk through why that's so important and like why it's important to set intention before a ceremony?
To having an intention, it's like without the expectation of the outcome, it's to have clarity in what you are working in specific, and that puts your mind into that specific matter.
Have your general intentions. You don't ever take medicine without intentions.
There's like intentions and then there's expectations, I think, that people go into it with. And a lot of people, when we shared today, I heard talking about their expectations of what it was going to be like. And when it doesn't meet your expectation, that's when you're let down or it's different. My intention this weekend was connecting with my inner child. That was my intention this weekend, was just trying to connect with who I was when I was a little boy. I feel like the older I've gotten, you get conditioned in life and you get away from that and you want to get back to it.
Sometimes it's a very specific intention though. If I'm struggling with something, processing fear or grief or, whatever's happening in my human experience, then I ask for help with that. As a facilitator, it's always use me for the good of all the participants here.
We'll burn out all your lightness, all your lightness. So let go of the shadow of shame and blame, of praise and gain. You are more.
When you started using ayahuasca for yourself, were you just looking to open yourself up more? Or was there anything specific, like did you have specific intentions that you were hoping to heal within yourself?
Alcohol, and I think I was in a point of my life that my spirit was asking for some changes and I just didn't see them because I always put myself into numbing myself with alcohol and not seeing myself. And when I get to that place and I had the medicine after that, then that's when I realized how big and powerful it was, and I didn't stop going.
I started off by doing MDMA therapy, and I switched to ayahuasca because there was a lot of things that just weren't making any sense to me. I was abused by a priest when I was a kid, and went on for a long time. And what MDMA helped me do was to process the physical trauma, but ayahuasca helped me to understand what was going on and understand why was going on for so long, why the experience under MDMA was going on for so long. You know, I thought it was a loop, but it turns out it was a sequence. And it correlates with the information I got from my parents.
Which is what?
Which is, I didn't know, or I'd forgotten, he used to babysit us on a weekly basis. And that he would come and stay at the house, spend the night at the house on a fairly regular basis, spend his vacations at the house. Who the fuck would do that with a goddamn priest? I don't know, but back in the day, they were gods. So it would help me to resolve my PTSD, and it was pretty acute. You know, I would have killed somebody, or somebody would have killed me or probably I would end up killing myself. And it helped me resolve and heal from the PTSD.
Where was MDMA falling short that ayahuasca was able to help the healing journey?
So my journey is not a metric for anybody else's. So I'm only speaking for myself because the MDMA helped me to process, physical processing, which involves somatic tagging. You know, it's intense physical tremors, shaking, running in place, that kind of shit. The digging up the memories and the reliving the memories so you can process the trauma out of your body. But until you can make sense of everything and make meaning from it, you can't finish really healing from it. And what I was doing, I was just going through this process over and over and over again. And I didn't understand why it wasn't changing. And the reason it wasn't changing was because it was a series of events that took place over a few years. And ayahuasca helped me to understand that.
Are you able to touch on what in your childhood led you to have to turn to ayahuasca ceremonies to heal?
When I was young, I moved with my mom back to Michigan from California, and we lived in a tent in my aunt's backyard. And my mom had to work 3 jobs in order to eventually get like a studio apartment for us. And we didn't have anything, so I literally had like bologna and oatmeal was like my source of food. I still hate bologna. Like to this day, I cannot eat bologna. And then she got remarried, and the person that she remarried was an alcoholic, and he was physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive. And from the time that I was 8 until the time that I was 16, I dealt with a lot of abuse and a lot of hurt. And I never told my mom that because I always felt like I had to protect my mom. She's always kind of treated me like I was the one who needed to take care of her. And I remember when I was 16, I tried to commit suicide, and I ended up in the mental institution for about 2 weeks because of that. And when I came back, my mom told me that when I was a child, after her and my dad had divorced, that the only reason that she didn't kill herself was because of me and the fact that she hoped one day we would be best friends. And that was the moment that broke me because I was so angry. And that's when I told her like what my stepfather had done to me. I mean, she knew about the verbal abuse. She knew about the physical abuse. She knew about the mental and psychological abuse because he did it to her too. But she didn't know about the sexual abuse. So I told her, and she responded by taking me into their bedroom and holding a family meeting and confronting him on it, like right there. And I got up. I grabbed like a backpack of clothes and I left the house and I never went back. I bounced around for a while from like place to place. And then I came out here to my dad, and I didn't speak to my mom really for almost 3 years. It took me a long time to be able to like forgive her and understand that it was like her own fear that was causing her to not be able to handle that, and the reason that she stayed, because she had to work 3 jobs to basically barely have a roof over her head and feed her daughter oatmeal and bologna, and she never wanted to be in that situation again. And it was sort of that realization that helped me to like understand her and love her and not hold on to the anger and hatred. Now here's the good part. After my ayahuasca ceremony, after several of my ayahuasca ceremonies, I began to understand him as well. He's someone who went through like severe abuse, which I found out later about, and I won't get into it because, you know, that's his story, but it helped me to understand him and have compassion for him and love him as a person.
I was going through a really hard time. I was using a lot of drugs. I was drinking. And my life was falling apart, and I just couldn't get a handle on it. And a friend of mine started doing ceremony, and I hadn't seen her in a few months. And when I saw her again, her eyes were bright, and she was sitting up in a way that I'd never seen her sit up before, and she just looked like a different person. And I tuned into her and said, what are you doing? And she told me, I'm sitting in ceremony. I was like, sign me up, like right now. So I signed up and went within 2 weeks.
Abriendo mentecita, pinta, pinta las visiones. Very uncomfortable. People don't like to purge, to vomit, or to have diarrhea, and getting out of a comfort zones. So always explaining that the purge, ayahuasca is a purge. It's a medicine that liberates us, the things that don't serve us to our purpose anymore. And we are not purging the medicine, we're purging emotions, energy that is being stuck in there for a long time.
When you're throwing up, when you're in that bucket throwing up, attach something to it. Attach your pain, your trauma, whatever it is, and get it out. Like, get it out from the depths of your soul. And that really helped me through some of my journeys quite a bit. Just remembering that, you know, when your face is in the bucket and you're in the throes of it, you know, it's like, man, use this for getting some shit out of you, whatever it is, wherever it is in your soul, and just get it out.
And then boom, I felt this, and I saw the channel within me go do, and it went down to my stomach, and it was like purge, and I was like, okay, it's time. And it was like an alert, like I flew up.
I don't purge as much now because I feel like I've done it so many times. But at the beginning, that was my fear. Yeah. You know, like I don't. Nobody likes to throw up. You know, and especially if you're purging from both ways, it's not a happy thing.
Yeah, that first ceremony that I had was terrifying. I really thought I was gonna die. Really? And, oh yes, and by the end of the ceremony, I wanted to die. Like, I was purging, I was vomiting, I was in the porta potty. I had to throw away the clothes that I was wearing because of it. I was sweating profusely. Like, it was a rough physical experience. It was a rough emotional experience. It was terrifying. When I start playing the instruments or the guaira or the rattle, it's like I am connecting with the medicine. In that moment is when it opened up for me the space in the medicine, and the music or the sounds creates this frequency with the people in the room that activates the medicine. It's like the calling.
I was in choir. When I started doing medicine work, I started singing along with the songs that I would hear, and then I would surprise myself by the tones that would come out of me, and I'd be like, whoa, where's that coming from? It was her working on this, like decalcifying this chakra so that this could be free. I think that everybody can sing.
The music was insane. It was beautiful, and it allowed the energy for me to like transform in waves. So it kind of like was like almost a guidance. But the woman's voice really transcended my the frequency and my visuals.
The work is personal. So after they leave the ceremony space, they have to work on themselves, like doing the homework or whatever they're calling to do. And that's not my responsibility. And I can take that personal either. And it's every person has a time and their process.
It's not magic. Like, it's not going to just fix everything for you. You know, it guides you and it tells you where you're lacking, basically, at least for me, you know, and it shows you, like, if I wanted to open my heart, if I want to be a vibration of unconditional love, it shows me what unconditional love looks like through actions.
I always understand that it's their process, and the medicine is a beautiful tool for them to see it, but it's going to take the time that they need for, you know, their soul to get that awareness.